Hey guys, how's it going? So a bit of a controversial topic today, but today we're going to be looking at monometals versus bimetals. Now, to save you guys like the whole hassle of, clickbait kind of thing, I'll give you my personal view first. And my personal view first is that bimetals can be, and most of the time are, superior to monometals. But here's the thing, bimetals are crazily overpriced. So, here are 3 things that you should totally consider before buying a bimetal. So, while it's unclear where the whole bimetal thing started to gain hype, I would argue that it was around the beginning to maybe the end of 2012. And the reason bimetals were like the hype was because it was believed they would offer superior performance. But here's the thing, I was actually using bimetals as early as 2010. Boom, Yo-Yo Jam Phenom. Remember this thing? Yeah. This thing is technically a bimetal. And while this thing was a super popular yo-yo, it didn't really spark a trend of other bimetal yo-yos. In fact, bimetal yo-yos were around for quite a while. The Berserker had a bimetal shape, the Phenom. In fact, Word even released a bimetal as early as like 2011, but they were sued by Yo-Yo Jam because, back then Yo-Yo Jam was still around and they owned the patent on like visible metal rims. Patent, legal issues aside, the technology for bimetals was already readily available 2, 3, maybe even 4 years before they started going mainstream. So the question you should be asking yourself is, if the technology was there and readily accessible, why weren't more players using bimetals? And the conclusion I've come up with is that players didn't really see bimetals as superior, okay? When I used the Yo-Yo Jam Phenom, yes, it was a bimetal, and no, I didn't really give it any special treatment because it was one, and as soon as a better yo-yo was released, aka the Irony, which is, a monometal, I jumped on the whole monometal train again, and just like that, I totally forgot this thing was a bimetal. Now that bimetals have, hit the mainstream and everyone's saying you need a bimetal and it's super awesome to have one, bimetals are given almost like a superiority thing. But what I'm trying to say is that bimetals have been around for a while, and if the technology was as groundbreaking as everyone claims it would be, we would have seen them adopted a lot earlier. This brings me to my next point. Most 1A World Yo-Yo Champions didn't use one. There is only one World Yo-Yo Champion in 1A who has won with a bimetal yo-yo, and that's Hiroyuki Suzuki. In fact, it's almost arguable that him winning with the Anglam started the whole bimetal craze in the first place. But the thing is that most yo-yo players, or most world champions for that matter, didn't really need one. Okay, so let's take a look. Before Mickey, alright? So before Mickey, we had Marcus Coe, and before Marcus, we had Jensen, okay? So plastic, monometal. Then we have Mickey, who won 2012, bimetal, great. Then we go to Janos, he used a monometal. After that, it was Gentry, he used a monometal. And after that, it was Zach, he used a monometal. And after that, it was Shion, who also used a monometal. Now, the whole point of bimetals and the reason they can justify these crazy prices is because they're trying to say this yo-yo is superior, whereas the top yo-yo players in the world, in the most competitive category, don't use them. Yes, you can say that a lot of runners-up and a lot of second and third places use bimetal yo-yos, but the fact that it didn't really make a difference in the grand scheme of things really makes you reevaluate dropping 250 bucks on that new bimetal now, doesn't it? And here is my last point. Manufacturers got lazy and they wanted to cash in on the trend. Now, let's backtrack a little bit. The reason bimetals are supposedly superior is because they have greater weight distribution, alright? So, if you get a normal monometal yo-yo and you carve the yo-yo into an elaborate shape, right? You can only go so far until you test the structural integrity of that yo-yo, and the weight distribution just doesn't work and the yo-yo itself is structurally unstable. What they did was they fixed this problem. They said, alright, well, let's design it with one metal, chuck another piece of metal on it so the weight distribution is even more precise and basically greater rim weight, so we can create a yo-yo that's even better. First couple of bimetals really did have the effect. Draupnir, great. Anglam, great. Berserker, great. But somewhere along the line, manufacturers thought, hey, if we make a yo-yo a bimetal, it's gonna sell more. So I can't really count how many times I've thrown a yo-yo that's a bimetal, and it feels exactly the same as a monometal. Now I'm not saying all manufacturers are lazy, but there are definitely some of them out there that literally just whacked another layer of metal on and said, this is a bimetal, buy my yo-yo. So it's not surprising that some bimetals really don't make that difference in the grand scheme of things at all. So yeah, that is my rant on bimetals versus monometals. It's more like my kind of viewpoint on bimetals. So I'm not here to knock bimetals and say we should all start using monometals. I really believe that if done correctly, bimetals are the future of yo-yoing. In fact, I predict that it'll be a lot more common and the price of bimetals will drastically decrease as people realize the marginal gain from having a bimetal doesn't really supersede that of a monometal just yet, or at least not double the price. So, what are my final thoughts? Bimetals, good. Not really justified worth the price. You probably could get away with a monometal in this kind of day and age. And bimetals are super, super overpriced. Do I own some of them? Yes. Do I use some of them? Yes. Do I like them? Yes. I'm just saying that if you're a beginner player and you think you need one, you don't. So that's my rant on bimetals and monometals, and that's generally all I have to say. I'm interested to see what you guys think. Any questions, comments, criticisms, post them down below. And yeah, that's it for me. I will see you guys next time.